Hi, Ashley.
Hi.
So why do we wear orange shirts?
To remember the residential schools.
Remember the residential schools. And do you remember there's a story about why we wear orange shirts?
I know there's a story. I don't know that story.
You don't remember the story?
Yeah, but I know there is a story behind why we wear the orange shirts.
Well, there was some here. There was a person who was going to residential school for the first time and was actually quite excited because when the Indian people, when the First Nations people signed treaties, one of the promises the government made in the treaties was they would provide education. And this girl was going to school for the first time, and she was kind of excited because it was going to school and she was going to learn things, and her grandmother had brought her a very fancy orange shirt for her to wear to school. So she wore it to school, but do you know one of the first things they did when they got to the residential schools?
They took all your stuff and cut your hair.
That's right. They took everything that you brought with you from your homeland, from your hometown, they took it away. Partly because they said they did it because they wanted to keep it clean. That's why they would cut people's hair so they wouldn't, in case they had lice. And they'd get rid of all your clothes so that in case you carried stuff with your clothes. But really part of it, a big part of it, was one of the things the residential schools were trying to do, were trying to make it so that people didn't think they were anything other than white people. They wanted everybody to be just like European people.
Yeah.
So they wanted to get rid of everything that might remind you of home. That's why they couldn't speak their language, and a lot of those kids...
They couldn't speak their native language.
That's right. But a lot of them would show up and they didn't know a lot of English.
Yeah.
Or you couldn't dress the way you did at home. You couldn't do anything that would remind you. So they took away her shirt, and once they took it away, it's not like sometimes if you go to school and if you're having trouble using something at school or it's getting in the way, they might take it away for the day and put it up front.
Yeah.
And then you get it back at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But no, when they took stuff away at residential schools,
it was gone.
It was gone. Often they burned it to get right rid of it. So a few years back, they started this program of having people wear orange shirts on September 30th, because that was declared Orange Shirt Day. And this year, for the first time, September 30th is a...
National holiday.
That's right, for Truth and Reconciliation. But September 30th isn't a Sunday, so I thought we'd do it today.
Yeah, because this is the closest Sunday to it.
Yeah. And then on Thursday, I'll do a Facebook Live thing in the afternoon for Orange Shirt Day. But that's why we wear orange shirts. And when I was your age, way, way, way back then,
because you're really old.
Because I'm really old, yes. I didn't know very much about residential schools. When I was your age, we didn't talk about it. When I was your age, we went skiing. We went cross-country skiing just outside St. Albert. Actually, it's in St. Albert now. And across the field, there was an old building. And all I knew was that used to be a school. And that was the Edmonton Indian Residential School, which was run by the United Church for most of its time.
Yeah, because there was a residential school by where Grandma lives. And
that's right. Where I grew up, well before we lived there, but there used to be a school just about 5-10 minute walk from where I grew up.
Yeah, because it's in that area, because the church and the chapel for that school is in that area.
That's right, because that's where the Catholic Church was, and it was a Catholic-run school. But when I was your age, we didn't know anything about those things. We weren't told about them. We were just... All we learned about First Nations history was things that happened before Europeans came. So we're getting better. We're telling the stories now and reminding each other that it's something very sad, because a lot of kids were hurt, and a lot of kids never went home.
Yeah, they didn't make it through.
That's right. So that's why it's very important to remember Orange Shirt Day, right?
Yeah.
Should we have an echo prayer?
Yeah.
God, we're sorry.
God, we're sorry.
We're sorry for what people once did.
Sorry for people once did.
We're sorry we forget the stories.
Sorry we forget the stories.
And we promise.
And we promise.
We promise to learn the stories.
We promise to learn the stories.
We promise to hear the pain.
We promise to hear the pain.
We promise to live together.
We promise to live together.
As people who love each other.
As people who love each other.
Amen.
Amen.